Pretty Real Plans, where we talk about accounting, budgeting, and lifestyle. I just want to start off by saying that I tried to give you guys a little cute scenery and backyard on the deck, but the wind was not letting me win. So we're back in my office where I still have not unpacked. But to get into this video, I know that you either probably clicked on this video because you are just starting out with your journey, you need a little bit more insight, maybe you just need a little motivation to get through the journey that you are currently on, or you're just doing a little research because you don't even know if this is the route that you want to take. Well, I just want to let you know that if it's any of those, then you have clicked on the right video. But before I get started, I just want to say everyone's journey is not the same. My journey is going to be different from yours, who's going to be different from your friends, who's going to be different from your coworker, who's going to be different from any other YouTube that you have found during your search. So you have those students who just graduated from graduate school, passed all 4 parts over the summer before starting their full-time gig. And then you have those who passed all 4 parts on the first try and it actually took them the entire 18 months. And then you have those who also passed in 18 months, but they didn't pass on the first try. And then last but not least, you have those who took the test multiple times, lost credits, and they're still, you know, trying to get that CPA behind their name. So like I said, everybody's journey is different, and believe it or not, I started my journey back in October of 2015, almost 6 years ago. So like I said, never compare your journey to the next, because you guys have only seen like a year of what I've been through, but I've actually been going through this for almost 6 years. You never know someone's whole story, and that's why I honestly want to share mine. 6 years is a long time, so I'm gonna try to put all 6 years in about 20 minutes. So here we go. Like I said, I started my journey in October of 2015, and I started out with Becker. So between October 2015 and January 2016, I attempted to take FAR and audit. I was only successful with taking audit, and I failed tremendously. Don't ask me my source. I don't remember. I didn't keep track of it. I didn't care. After that fail, I kind of got defeated because I was trying to do so much at one time, and I decided to just let it all go. I ended up moving back home, finding a new job. After I found my new job, I'm like, okay, you know, let me get all settled in, you know, learn the ropes, and then I'll jump back into it. Tried to jump back into it, wasn't working out. So in August of 2017, guess what? I purchased Becker again. The reason I went with Becker is because they had the 0% financing, and I did not have the funds to pay for a course outright. I could only afford to pay for something monthly. So Becker it was. I ended up finding a new job in February of 2018, and once again I'm like, okay, let me learn the ropes. And then I'll hop into studying. With this new job, I did have a lot, and I mean a lot of free time. So I would study at work all the time, but the way I was studying, I guess, was not working for me. Becker was not working for me. It just was not it. I couldn't get into the groove of things. I really wasn't happy at my job. I wasn't learning anything, so I just stopped everything. So I decided to start looking for another job. Y'all, between my CPA journey and now, I've had, what, 3 jobs? I think I've had like 3 jobs. Anyways, that's not the main point of this video. In the search of this new job, all I kept saying was CPA required, CPA preferred. Well, I am not a CPA. I can't put on my resume that I'm a CPA candidate, quote unquote, because I haven't even passed one test yet. And for the jobs that wasn't requiring or preferred a CPA, they weren't in my salary range. They wanted to pay me way under what I felt like I was worth. So it was very, very, very difficult. I think at that point is where I knew that I honestly had to get it together. If I want to move forward in life, if I decide to switch jobs, I need to have my CPA. I think that was my sick and tired of being sick and tired point. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of not being a CPA. So I put my head on and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. I have to get those 3 letters behind my name. I decided that I was not going to waste any more money on Becker. My 18 months was up again. So I had to find something new. And I will say, before you pick a choice, please, 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 please do your research on what you feel is the best for you. If you cannot afford the course that you are taking, see if they have any scholarships, see if they have any discounts. Wait a few months and save up some money to purchase that course. Do not just give in because it's the cheapest or it's the best financially. Save your coins to pick the course that's best for you. And I wish someone gave me that advice 6 years ago. So anyways, after doing my research, I found UWorld Roger CPA review course. I did the trial and I fell in love. And at the time, unlike Becker, once you purchase the course, I always go with all 4 parts because in the long run, it's cheaper than purchasing each part separately. Unlike Becker, who expires in 18 months, Roger, you get to keep the course until you pass. I like that because they were dedicated to providing their students with the best, and they weren't there to just honestly take your money. You have things come up and you might not be able to pass all 4 parts in 18 months. Like me, I had a kid. Gratefully, I was able to pass all 4 parts, but for some people, it's even harder than it was for me. So you need that extra time, and Becker just didn't give you that. So I'm thankful that I found Roger when I did, where they could stay with me until I passed. I believe Becker, they do have it now, but back when I was buying and purchasing my CPA courses, they didn't have it. But during my trial and doing my research, a few things that stood out to me with UWorld Roger CPA review course was definitely the lectures. I will say the lectures are awesome, and whether you're studying at 5 o'clock in the morning, whether you're studying at 10 o'clock at night, those lectures will keep you up, I promise you. What I liked about the lectures is they broke down the most hardest topics very easily. Roger in the videos, he's very personable, he's energetic, he's humorous. I mean, the videos have you laughing. Like I said, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I decided to study at the crack of dawn, and when I tell you that I'm up laughing, hee ha haing at 5 o'clock in the morning and haven't even had any coffee. So the videos for me, it's definitely number 1. The second thing that stood out to me was the Smart Path predictive technology. So it's a data-driven platform that provides target recommendations on what topics to focus on by comparing progress to others who passed the CPA with the course. So basically, you do a section, you answer the multiple choice questions. They give you a score. They have what you scored, and then they have the recommended score, and whether or not you need to, go back to the lecture and review these topics, or if you've exceeded that recommendation, then go ahead to the next topic. And then the last thing that really stood out was the revolutionary Q bank. UWorld Roger has tons and tons and tons of multiple choice questions, and within the questions you have the answers and the explanations, and they go into detail of why these answers are right, why these answers are wrong. It's not just this answer is wrong because this answer was right. They go into detail of why that answer was wrong, and their answers are geared towards every single learner on earth. Whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner, a kinesthetic learner, or you just learn from just reading, they have it all. In the questions, they have illustrations, they have paragraphs where you can just read, they have the links where you can go back to the lectures to review that topic to understand what you got wrong. They cater to all types of learners, and I think that honestly might be pushed up to number 1. So that is why I chose UWorld Roger, and they stuck with me until the very end. Every single section, every test, I either open the book, I listen to a lecture, I answer multiple choice questions. They were there with me through it all. So in January of 2019 is where I really buckled down and said, I gotta get this stuff done. Like, I'm gonna be a CPA by the end of 2020. It was a goal, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it. I started studying for FAR day in and day out, and there was nothing that could stop me. 3/4 through the book, I decided, okay, I'm 3/4 through the book. Let me go ahead and schedule my test. So that gives me enough time to get through the rest of the book and time to review all of this stuff. So I scheduled my test for November 9th. And at that point, it was like, all right, this is really happening. Like, I can't go back. I paid my money to schedule the test and I gotta do it. So I sat for that test. After I took that test, I started studying for audit. I'm like, I gotta keep going. I don't know if I passed, I don't know if I failed, but we're gonna keep pushing. In the middle of studying for audit, I got a passing score for FAR. Yay! And that's when the 18 months begin. And it's like, I can't slow down now. I gotta keep my head on straight and I gotta stay focused. I just have to keep going. For me, what motivated me was seeing that finish line. I knew there was a finish line somewhere and I just needed to get to it. Allotted myself 2 months to study for audit and scheduled the test. The end of the 2 months got closer and I was like, okay, I am not ready for this test at all. Let's push it back. So I pushed it back a few more weeks and I finally took the test in February. I was a little iffy. I'm like, I think I passed, but I don't know for sure. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but I'm not gonna be sad. I'm just gonna, you know, wait and see what happens. And I'm like, okay, give myself a little bit more time off and let's study for reg. So started studying for reg. While I'm studying for reg, I get a passing score for audit. Yes, that test I got a 75. So I started studying for reg in February and March came around, COVID happened. We didn't think COVID was gonna be as big as it was, so I continued to study. And then I found out I was pregnant. We realized everything was shut down. It wasn't, you know, just gonna happen again. We couldn't go take a test, so I stopped studying because I didn't know when we would be able to test again. So I let my first trimester pass, and then once things started to open back up again and people were a little more comfortable with going out and the test center started opening, I'm like, okay, let's crack open a book because I really have a deadline to get this thing done before this baby comes. So I ended up scheduling reg for the end of September. This gave me enough time to take reg and enough time to study for BEC and take BEC before the baby got here. I'm like, I have to get this done. I cannot be studying with the baby and working full time. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Well, I ended up failing reg when I took it on September 9th with a 72. Aww. It was a little heartbreaking, but I'm like, okay, I'm right there. I knew exactly what I needed to work on, which were, I think, the S corps and the C corps. Like, I knew exactly what it was that I needed to work on. So gave myself, I think, 3 or 4 more weeks, and I'm like, okay, I'm back at it. This still gives me at least a month to study for BEC and take the test, because at the time everybody said, oh, BEC is easy, I have business to take care of. That's why I just disappeared. But like I was saying, everybody was saying how BEC was a breeze. BEC, they got their highest score. So I'm like, okay, 1 month for BEC will be just great for me. Wrong. So I ended up taking reg on November 2nd and passing with the 76. Thank you, God. Oh my gosh. By the time I had got a little through BEC, but it was crunch time and I honestly was not ready to take that test. I had the test scheduled for December 7th and cadence was due on December 13th. I'm like, I have to reschedule. I told my mom, I'm like, I can't do it. This isn't gonna work. So she was like, Ronisha, go take the test. If you pass, you pass. If you fail, I will give you the money to retake it. So on December 7th, almost 9 months pregnant, I am sitting in the testing center taking BEC. And unfortunately, I ended up failing with a 64. I actually found out my scores the day we got home with Cadence. And to everyone's surprise, she actually came on her due date. Which was amazing. It's what I wanted and it happened. So that was something good out of everything. She came on my due date, although I failed with the 64. So I'm like, all right, let's spend time with baby, get this mommy baby time, and after that I'll start studying. And she's whining, so we're gonna bring her in here with us. So I gave myself a month just to be mom, to bond with Cadence before I decided to start focus on studying again. So a month later, we're back on the grind with baby at home. The good thing about it is that Tyree had paternity leave. He was there the entire 3 months that I was at home, which was a huge help because when I studied, he had Cadence. It was great. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let's schedule the test for March and have this knocked out before it's time for me to go back to work, because trying to study for the CPA exam, a newborn, and working full time, This is going to be impossible. Honestly, like, there is no way I'm gonna be able to do it. So crunch time again, study, and I ended up failing with a 72. I don't know what's up with me failing with the 72, but it happened again. So I failed with a 72. With me scheduling my test and getting my scores back, I still had enough time to take the test one more time before my FAR score expired. At that point, it was the end. It's like, okay, I passed this test or I have to retake FAR. And if I have to retake FAR, I'm giving myself a good little break because we had just moved and I can't do all the things. I know sometimes I think I'm Superwoman, but I know I'm not, and I cannot do all the things like I think I can. So at this point, I am CPA out. I don't really want to take the test again. I don't really want to study, but I pushed through. I pushed through because I've gotten this far. If I've gotten this far in my journey, I can finish this last test. The one test that everybody claims is so easy, and I passed the quote-unquote hardest on the first try. I can do this. So although I lost all motivation, there was a itsy piece of me that knew that I could get through this. So finally, the month that my first score expired is the same month that I passed my last test, and I passed with a 77, and I am so thankful that I am completely done and over with the test. But that is my journey in a nutshell, y'all. It's not easy. It is not easy at all. Kudos to those who have passed everything on the first try and has passed with flying colors. But everyone is not the same. If you're on that journey, just continue to put your all into it. If this is something that you really want, you have to want this. Not your wife, not your sister, not your husband, not your cousin, not your kids, not your supervisor, you. If you don't want this for you, then there's honestly no point in doing it. You have to want this for yourself. And I think in the beginning of my journey, I didn't completely want it for myself. I wanted it for everybody else. And I wanted it for everybody else who believed in me, that I could show them that I could do this. Towards the end is when I wanted it for me. And this is what I wanted. This is what I needed. This is what's going to make me better. You have to want it for you. You have to know your why. My why was, one, because I've talked about this since I've graduated. My why is because I don't feel like I'll be able to advance in my company without it. My why is because one day I potentially want to have my own business. I want to have those credentials so people will take me seriously. Those were my whys. So if you haven't started your journey yet, find out your why. Write your whys out. Keep them in your phone. Put them on your wall. Write them on your mirror so you could see them. It takes you to have to want it for yourself. And that is my spiel on my CPA journey. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I will still be giving you all CPA related content. Of course, it's not gonna be study with me because I'm done studying. I'm sorry. But how to get started, review courses that I suggest, how to apply for your license, how to apply to take the test, what do you need to be eligible to sit for the test, all of those things. Those are the videos that's coming, especially if you're just starting out. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I will see you guys in my next video. Cadence, can you tell them bye-bye? Say bye-bye. She's like, who the heck am I saying bye-bye to? All right, guys. Peace.